there was a few hundred rules dealing with cars and vehicles, motor vehicles, but only one dealing with pavement. All right, and this I will quote from the road traffic rules. Okay, I don't have my hand for either, but it says something like this: any vehicle other than the perambulator is not allowed to be parked, driven, or something on a footpath of a road. For the people here present who don't know what a perambulator is, a baby stroller, a pram, right? So that means to say technically, if you push your baby on a pavement, on a stroller, you're fine. But if you push your elderly parent in a wheelchair, technically our commander can give you a saman. Technically, not that he does, but technically he could. All right, or if let's say your parent decides, oh, I don't want to be dependent on my children or my caregiver, I want to have a motorized wheelchair to drive myself to the coffee shop. Technically, you could also get saman. And how about mobility scooters, which are nowadays much more popular than motorized wheelchairs? All right, technically, they drive it to their dialysis center and back, they could get a saman. All right, so our government's push, and I think it's a good initiative, is to promote active aging. That means we want our elderly people to be active, not to be too dependent on their children or caregivers. But the unfortunate fact is that many of them cannot walk more than 200 meters, right, without having to stop for a rest. All right, and many of them, unfortunately, are dialysis patients. All right, they need to go 3 times a week. Okay, and if you are familiar with dialysis patients, after a dialysis session, they are really very tired. You can't expect them to wait for a bus, and their finances are already so stretched. You can't expect them to always take a taxi home if they are able to flag one down in the first place. So given this this situation, isn't it time? Our government has done an extremely good job in upgrading all of the physical infrastructure like ramps, barrier-free accessibility, putting lifts on all the MRT stations, wheelchair accessible buses. But in terms of legal infrastructure, there is just that one line, which I find a little bit not in sync with the reality on the ground. So is it time for us to also look at the legal infrastructure with regards to use of pavements, especially when we look at the needs of people in a wheelchair?
Well, I think what's happening, I think the issue here has been that the pedestrians feel threatened when some of these go on. So I think it's neat. I mean, what they did in Tampines is a good example. They changed the law to allow cyclists and the pedestrians to share. So it's not impossible to relook at some of these things. You know, that it is possible. But at the moment, the pavement is meant for pedestrians. So they're worried about others going in, but I'm sure these are things they can look into.
And I think in general, the question is, should laws change with technology? And I think they should both keep in pace. As technology changes, I mean, I don't think there was any law of texting and driving, and that law had to be created once texting came into play. So laws have to evolve as technology changes.
I think our laws are a bit archaic when it comes to the regulation of non-motorized mobility device, right? Whether it's on the road, on the pavement, or in the park, and also the housing estate area, right? Whether it's a hawker center, etc. I think there's already some discussion ongoing. I think recently at the Committee of Supply Debate, SMS, MOT did mention that there's a whole government initiative to review this aspect. And I think PM also announced that Ang-Mo-Kio, right, will be one of the pilot town that they're going to promote cycling in a larger way as part of the first and last mile transportation between the dwelling units, right, and the facilities. So I think the answer is yes, and I think that's the way forward. Personally, I would prefer, all right, that there's a dedicated, whether is it a cycling path or a mobility path, all right, for this user other than the pedestrian. All right, because the fact that if you move faster than pedestrian means that you are adding more risks, right, than before. But having said, we all know, right, Singapore is only 700 square kilometers, and there'll be trade-off. So I think the answer lies in between. All right. I think what's more key is that we must learn to coexist and understanding each other and giving way to each other. I always share with my friends, right? For those who have gone to Pulau Ubin, there are lots of cyclists there. There are also taxis going around, pickups going around, but people coexist. If you go to Ubin, I've never heard any complaints or feedback, and TP don't issue violation on Pulau Ubin as well. But people learn how to coexist. It's natural. It comes natural. We're all Singaporeans, but we go to Pulau Ubin, we learn how to coexist. Cyclists give way to vehicle, vehicle give way to cyclists. You walk along the narrow path, somehow one people, one nation. But come back to Singapore, different. Yeah. So the answer is yes. I think that's the way to go. And TP is involved in this discussion as well. I think at suitable time, we will announce the outcome.